Hey guys, what's up? So I'm here to give my review on the IQ Pro Hunter bow sight. Alright, so here it is, IQ Pro Hunter. That is a 3-pin sight. Alright, the third pin is a floater, which means via this dial right here, I can adjust that going all the way down. You can see that there. You can run this pin all the way to the bottom of the sight housing. So that is the reason that pretty much the reason that I bought this sight in the first place, was to have a floater pin that I could get out to some considerable distances with. And with this sight, you absolutely can. So I'll start off with some of the things I liked about it. Number one would be the floater option. With this, I can get out to about 80, 85 yards with my draw weight, arrow weight, and all that. So that is a nice option. I've done several total archery challenges, and those yardages went out to 100 yards. I had to hold high on the hundreds, but it does go out to 80 quite well, and it's dead on. So another thing that I liked about it was the all metal construction. All right, from front to back, top to bottom, it's all metal. So there's no plastic parts. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So that is really nice, especially for the price point. It is what you expect. Another thing would be the brightness. So all the fibers are running through this little top piece right here, which collects light really well. So the brightness of the pins is really good, especially in daylight or lower light. Another thing would be the micro adjustability of the windage and elevation. All right, so it does have toolless adjustments, so you can just undo these, all right, with your hand, and then from here it's clicks. You can hear those clicks going off. So that's nice to have, to just get a little bit of adjustment and really dial in those arrows nice and fine. That way you're not unscrewing it and then tap, tap, move it an inch, and then forget where you're at. All right, it's a lot easier than the other ones. It also has third axis third axis adjustments, which is kind of hard to show right here, but these screws right in here, all right, you can do that. Main reason I bought it, besides the floater pin was a big reason, but the main reason was because of the retina lock. So what the retina lock is let's see if I can kind of show you here. This little dot here that will show you if you have a poor grip or a different grip on the bow than you would normally have in any other shooting positions. If you're wearing an extra piece of facial equipment, or if your grip's wrong, then you can see that little bubble in there, and it'll show you where you're off. And so if you line that dot up with that bubble, then your arrow is pretty much going to go in the same spot. So that was the number one reason I bought it, and I think because of that, it's made me a much better shooter. Just paying attention to that bubble every single time, and also paying attention to how the bow fits in my hand, has made me consciously a better shooter. Another thing I really like about, not quite the site, but definitely the company, is their customer service. At one Total Archery Challenge, I had set my bow down on my backpack, or it was the weeds, something, grabbed the pins and had pulled them out, essentially broke them off. So I had a handicap at one of the Total Archery Challenges, but nonetheless, I called them, I sent the sight in, they said, yep, we'll either fix it or replace it. They replaced it, sent it back in like a week or so, which is really cool with them. They really took care of me. And it's something that you definitely look for and really care about when you're looking for any company, especially if you're dealing with an outdoor products that you maybe use and abuse a little bit too much. So now I'm going to get on to some of my dislikes or some of the cons that I think that they could definitely improve in their next model that they come out with, or maybe next year something to add into the box. Just my opinions. Number one is going to be, maybe this is a little bit less important to some people, but it did not come with the rheostat light to make the pins brighter. It's something really nice to have, and it comes on a lot of lower end sights. So like just sights you get maybe $100 sights or even like $70, $80 sights that come standard on some of those. And I feel like for a $200, $210 sight, that's kind of something that should be just in the box. Just throw it in there. Even make the sight $215, add an extra $5, and just throw it in the package. That way you don't have to go out and buy a separate thing. But that's up to the shooter. Not all shooters use those. I'd like them. Number two would be no sight tapes. So on mine, there is sight tapes. If I get the focus. But so on mine, there is sight tapes. You can see they're a little blurry, but they are Spot Hogg sight tapes for their whatever it is. I bought from Lancaster Archery Supply. They have several different ones, just generic sight tape packages you can buy. And I found one that was really close. I slapped it on there and it works really well. So if that was one of your options, they just have blank white paper in there so you can write it in with a pen. However, I didn't really like that. It was hard to get specific yardages without just guessing. And I didn't get a floater pin just to guess on yardages. If I want a floater, I want to put it on 42 yards or 72 yards and then shoot at 72 yards. I don't want to guess in between my handwritten 70 and handwritten 75. I want to put it on a peg. Number three thing, when you do use the Micro Adjust windage and elevation, it's really clunky. So here, you can see that movement in that sight housing. When you loosen these up, it's not a really snug fit in here. And that just kind of sucks because I really like the Micro Adjust. Just loosen it up and go. So if the windage and elevation clicks were as tight and as smooth as the floater pin, it would be totally different. If it was the case, if they had the same screw set in this floater pin as they should have on the clicks of the windage and elevation, it would be fantastic. It would be 100% better. But when you do try to tighten this back down, I'll try to tighten it for you. So I kind of squeeze pretty tight. See it just kind of move there, squeeze again, moved again, squeeze, squeeze. Gotta tap it, gotta shoot it once or twice just to get all the vibrations out and then tighten it back up. And that's, not something I want to have come loose in the field, because you don't always have that opportunity to shoot it or, draw it back and make sure it's perfectly right. Yeah, it's not cool. So all that being said, I think the retina lock is awesome. The sliders, or the floater pin is awesome. There's just some things where they could make it a little bit more fine-tuned. They could add some more options on it and make it an amazing sight. A sight that I would easily pay, $250 for, or in that range. And it would just be killer. But that's my opinion. I think it's a killer sight anyways. That's why I bought it in the first place. I did a bunch of research on sights, and I decided with this one. And no doubt it did make me a better shooter, especially with that retina lock. Like I said, I shot at 2 Total Archery Challenges. I did a Train to Hunt event. I scored very well in the 3D. And then I did a 3D tournament recently as well. This year is my first 3D tournament, and I used this site, and I did very well in that 3D tournament as well. So, I mean, it'll shoot with you. If you have the skills to shoot behind the sight will perform. There's no doubt about that. I am glad I bought this sight. That's for sure too. I think that's all I got for the review today. So, like this video, tell me what you think. If you want to see anything else, let me know. I'll try to do it. But yeah, that's it for today. See you.